title in there. And you don't want to do that.
Nobody cares.
Well, who's going to look for if you go to do a search and they're looking for a president? I mean, if they really have a situation or an issue that they need to have solved and they're looking for someone to help them with that, I mean, president's not really going to bring them to the right person. But perhaps they need a plumber. You want to make sure, and yes, plumber. Every profession needs to be on LinkedIn. People are there looking for you. So you need to be there. And it's a free platform. You don't have to, there are paid upgrades, but you don't have to pay to upgrade.
No, I would totally say with that side of it that, it's not necessary. We've both gotten plenty of business and have never, other than for training purposes, we will go in and do paid, but that's so we can teach, not that we remain there long.
Well, precisely. So back to a plumber, we have the headline. You have 120 characters to put some bullets, some keyword phrases in that headline. So if you're a plumber, maybe you specialize in commercial plumbing or residential plumbing, you would want to use those type of terms within your headline. Perhaps you are just a small plumber that you don't want the big jobs. Maybe you just want to do the residential, and you are one that works with contractors and installs toilets. Or I know when we moved our kitchen, we were looking for someone that would actually dig a hole in our kitchen, move our plumbing.
Oh, what a mess. Don't remind me.
And it was difficult to find the plumber that really wanted.
He did a great job. I will say that.
The company we hired finally did. But it took a while to find that. So the key is, what is your specialty? What would someone look for if they were Googling you? And that's the type of words or phrases you want to use in that headline. And that's the only real big tip I'm going to give on the profile as far as what I am going to say you want to do first, because that is the most important area on your profile. And once you start there, you start developing your profile throughout, writing your summary, your experience, etc. And you'll be found.
How many words or characters can you get in your profile?
Oh, you mean like in the summary?
Yeah.
Experience? You have 2,000 characters.
2,000. Well, you can write a small book.
Right, a lot of writing. But there is, I call the secret sauce to writing that summary, so that you are attracting those persons to you that you want to be doing business with, or have them doing business with you. So again, I love LinkedIn. Can you tell?
I can tell.
I am on it every single day. And, it is really, again, that tool that you need to be communicating on. Another tip I really want to make sure that you are aware, we shared a little bit about the communication, but there is an actual news feed, just like on Facebook, that you have in your LinkedIn. And you want to make sure that you are posting status updates there. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to be, seen. It's that visibility.
Oh, you want to be in the flow. Mm-hmm. And LinkedIn, you want to do it at a certain time of day on that. You can be too early, you can be too late on that. Now, there's always people there, so it'll never be a waste of time. But you want to get it in a position where you can get the maximum reach possible.
Oh, most definitely. And when you're there on that news feed, not only posting your information, and you want to be careful. You don't want to spam your connections, because every time you post something, again, it goes into that news feed, and if they happen to be there, they'll see it going through the stream. They also don't want you to be posting some of the same type of images you'd be posting on Facebook. In other words, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas when it comes to LinkedIn, unless we had the opportunity to do some presentations and speak out there a couple different times. And then we did post pictures of us working out there. on stage, we also shared information about the organization we were speaking for, and et cetera. But that was all work related. So that stuff in Vegas could come onto LinkedIn. But again, you don't want to give too much information. And some of those images, that what we call the memes that you see on Facebook that flows through, that are not always appropriate, they don't belong on LinkedIn. You need to really, again, that tonality on LinkedIn is the professional. It's the manner. Your mannerism is much different.
You have to be true to yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to be true to what you want to be and where you want to go. And so it's important that you almost write a style sheet for who you are and put down where the lines are. What are you willing to say? What are you not willing to say? I mean, we're in what I call the silly season right now, the election season. It's really easy to get tied up in the drama of an election season. But is the election season and your opinion of the election season more important than your paycheck?
That's a good way to put it. Be careful what you say. I mean, we all have our opinions, and
there are places and ways to say it, but it may not be the place on LinkedIn.
I would probably say LinkedIn is one area where I would stay away from that. I did see something posted the other day and coming through my newsfeed, because, again, when you're looking at your newsfeed, just like you do on Facebook, you do see things that your connections are posting as well. And also you will see business pages information. Yes, LinkedIn has business pages, and it's, we're not going to, again, you want to make sure that you have your brand up there as well. And people that are following your business pages, they will see things that you post on the business page. So if you are following other businesses and they are posting content, which they should be, then you'll see that information coming through your newsfeed as well. And you want to make sure you're communicating on that content, because now you're going to be seen in front of your connections more. You'll also be seen in front of other people that are commenting on there. And that's another great way you start connecting with people outside of your immediate network, because there's 3 tiers in LinkedIn: your first, your second, and your third. The first are the individuals you're connected with. The second tier are those individuals connected with those you're connected with. And that third tier, they're in your network. They're connected to that second tier. And so that's how you expand your reach, is by being seen, not just by those you're connected with, but by those they are connected with. And when you are, as I said the other day, I saw somebody post something and it was political. And that person got blasted. I mean, this is not the place to do it. We respect your opinion, but this is not where we bring the drama. We're here to focus on business. And that was, it was something that it was a very strong statement that I saw, within my news feed. So, yeah, you have to really understand your community, your tribe, I keep going back to the word intention. You have to have intention why you get on these sites. What's your purpose? What's your strategy?
Yeah, if your strategy is just to go up and talk and have a conversation, maybe. Mm-hmm. If your strategy is to grow your brand, your reputation, and to grow your worth to the business community, then you have to know what the business community that you want to be in expects of somebody that you want to be. Mm-hmm. And it's really, it's a very disciplined effort, unlike Facebook, where you can get up there and, you can get a little out there on Facebook. Maybe even a whole lot out there. But
I do a lot of scanning on Facebook these days, but when I'm on LinkedIn, I am very focused. And that's something, Richard, how would you describe, how does one listen on LinkedIn so that you actually start connecting with those right people and then taking it to the next step?
It all begins with knowing your purpose, and I know I've said that before, and I'll say it a couple more times. It's within your realm of what you're doing in your purpose, and you're listening for people that are resonating with you and how they're writing.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, and you mentioned commenting. So when you're out there and somebody resonates with you and what they're saying, jump into the conversation. Jump in and comment on it. Let people know your opinion professionally,
mm-hmm.
but get in the middle of it. And once you do that, people will get to know you. And then the conversation will be a little bit easier. It's a little bit less tense than the first time you jump in a conversation
mm-hmm.
on that. So just remember that. Go ahead and get in. If they don't want you in and they're not communicating back with you, it's no big deal. It's just not the right group of people for
mm-hmm.
you.
And
but I promise you, LinkedIn's big enough that you'll find the right group for you.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
100 and some odd million in the U.S. Yeah, I think there's somebody out there.
Well, and that brings me to groups. I mean, groups on LinkedIn have changed over the years. So make sure that when you're getting into different groups on LinkedIn, again, you're very purposeful. You do want to get into some of your industry groups where you can learn from your peers, but don't get caught up in just getting into those kind of groups. This is where you have to really dig deep and know who your ideal customer is, who your ideal prospect is, because you want to make sure you're getting into groups where they hang out. And then you want to get in and you want to get to know them and help them to get to know you. But you don't want to go in and sell to them. You want to build that relationship, because that is why LinkedIn is so powerful, even more so than, not as much as, as far as the percentage, but it is much more effective when you want to enhance current client relationships as well as helping cultivating your client prospects. It's about a 30 to 34% on LinkedIn versus 16% on Facebook. When you're cultivating those relationships, you have a better opportunity to cultivate those professional relationships on LinkedIn. So again, a very, very powerful site. There are so many different features now. I mean, with the publishing, those that want to blog but don't want to go do a blog, you can now become a published author right there on LinkedIn. It helps you expand your expertise and let others see the expertise that you have to share. Become a thought leader. People take notice of those things.
On doing the publishing, what is the average length you would say somebody would put up there? Is it like a page, or can you put a mini book up there, or what?
I probably wouldn't recommend a mini book, but I would say stay around 300 to 600 words. You don't have to write a lot. Just put a thought down. But the key is when you're doing it, get some type of a call to action. Get so that people that are reading it will take action. What do you want them to do? Why are you writing it? What are you expecting from it? Again, is it just to be braggadocious, or do you want them to actually take action by maybe going to your website, or possibly even taking them to your other blog where they can read more? Do you want them to go opt in on a free gotcha on your website so that you can do a lead capture by gathering their email so that you can have continued communications with them via email marketing? There's so many ways to expand that conversation on LinkedIn. And one of the key things is when you're connecting and you're messaging back and forth, you have to be bold in your communications. And if you see potential, take it offline. Pick up the phone, set an appointment to talk to each other. Or if it's a local person, meet in a public place. Especially if you don't know the person, I want to be sure. I don't tell people go meet these strangers. But, it's if you see the potential for business, you want to make sure that you are taking that step. It's just like following up on a phone when you are meeting people out networking. You're not going to get anywhere or expect, and you can't expect your business to grow if you do not take that step to call them and continue the conversation that way. Everyone thinks because we have online is so powerful and it's such right in our face that everything is done via, the social networks, the messaging, the email, the texting. phone is the best.
It still comes down to the more personal, the deeper the connection will be made. And at some point in time, it will come down to a phone call, or maybe Facebook Live, or maybe a blab, or something else along those lines. But you have to get, at some point in time,